We're live. Aloha and shalom, everybody. We're here for the new moon activation. It's the final day of the Gregorian month of May. It's a new moon, new beginning. And remember, these videos don't actually have anything to do with the moon other than the fact that we use the moon as a measurement of time so that we can meet 4 quarters every month. Also, the moon is reflecting the light of the sun, which is reflecting the light of the one, which is in each and every one of us. It's within all things. So the moon is a reflection of whatever is going on inside of us. So new moon representing a new beginning within and all around. I'm going to go ahead and start shuffling the cards. And for those of you who are new to the portal, welcome. And for those of you who are returning, welcome back. So while I'm shuffling, just let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from. I'm tuning in from the lovely Sedona, Arizona. Super magical place here on Earth. Where in the world are you? Yay! And when I look at everybody tuning in from around the world, I like to imagine that I'm seeing the Earth from outer space and I'm seeing those points of the Earth lighting up. So it's like we're creating a grid of light, and I invite you to do the same. We've got Florida in the house, we have Pennsylvania in the house, Kentucky, Portugal, Australia, Ohio. And remember, when I'm shuffling, what I'm doing is touching each card, which is touching each part of the mind, because each card represents a different part of the individual and collective mind. California in the house. So it's like we're waking up the different parts of the brain and different parts of the mind. Each card also represents a different piece of wisdom, archetypal wisdom. And so we're touching each one of those, activating them, lighting them up. We have more Florida in the house, New York in the house, hey. And you guys, we do these readings, Ireland's in the house. We do these readings every single week, and they've been going on for years. So if you like what you experienced today, please come join us again. Minnesota in the house, another Australia in the house. And I invite you, while we're live, to go ahead and share this video with your friends, your family, or your favorite groups on Facebook while we're live so they can get in the portal with us. Otherwise, feel free to share the recording at the end. The recording also gets loaded to YouTube and Instagram, Rebecca Magic, for those who are not in Facebook land, who you might want to share it with. If you think there's someone who could use an inspirational message, this is the type of video you want to share. If you think you have a friend or a family member, know someone who could help activate these portals even further, please share it with them. Almost done here. All right, those are shuffled. Now I'm going to take out from my magic box here, my little treasure chest, my special Hebrew cards that some of you may not have seen before. They look like this. I made them myself. I'm just going to shuffle these as well. And they work the same way as the tarot. Each letter of the Aleph Bet, the Hebrew alphabet, represents a different part of the mind, individual and collective. Each letter also represents a different piece of wisdom. I feel that new moon energy right now. Just feel the new energy right now, that newness for real. All right. And here we go. So new moon, new beginning. Thank you in advance, archetypes, faces of the one, for this message that we are together as an alliance about to bring forth. So what's the focus? Which we usually call the challenge and the gift. There's always a priority focus. Which archetype represents that focus right now? And why are we focused on this? What is it going to bring to us? What is the foundation of this lesson here? What's at the bottom of it? All right. And with the Hebrew cards, we will pull an ally. I feel like it's this one, whatever this one is. Boom. Okay. Six of Swords. And we had Swords last week too. So obviously going through some challenging times. Swords is the suit of challenges. I gave a little hint last week about the manipulation as far as the elemental associations in tarot. If you liked that secret tip, give a heart, give a like right now, let me know. For those of you who missed it, you can catch it in my book Royal Path 1 or in my book Royal Path 2. You can find it on my YouTube channel. I often talk about the manipulations within tarot. That was a lot of fun last week. So we have another Swords, 6 of Swords today. It looks like this. And remember that all of the symbols as well as the characters in the cards are representing different parts of you. They're all you. It's all one. We, one. That's it. So the swords, the man, the woman, the child, it's all different aspects of you. And what this card is representing is your active self doing whatever you need to do to get the other parts of yourself to the other side, to get your emotional self, to get your intuitive self, to get your inner child, all these different parts of you to the other side. So it's like this force in you that needs to be activated in order to get you to the other side of what you've been experiencing. The challenge right now is finding that motivation to act in the ways that we must act right now in order to get to the other side of whatever the challenge has been. And that usually involves telling ourselves, I'm over the worst part of it. And even if there's a voice in your head that says, oh, but you're not, well, faith it till you make it. How can you make it then so that you can tell that voice, we are on the other side. We have gone through the hardest part of it. Or if you really can't believe that, if there's a part of you that says, no, we're still in the thick of it, how can you get yourself out of that? It's time to take progressive action. So 6s are always the bridge to the other side. They're literally rowing somewhere, okay? They're moving from the ripples to smoother water, to calmer waters. And the 5 of Swords is that comes right before it. Remember, tarot is a sequence. You always want to look to the cards before and after to know what brought you here and where you're headed. So what we're rowing away from is the 5, which is defeat, feeling defeated. So whatever has had you feeling that feeling of defeat as of late, know that you're moving past it now. You have the ability to, at least. It's a choice every moment. Okay, so we've gone through the defeat. Now is a time to act, to keep going, to progress past the hard part. And we're going from the 6 to the 7. The 7 of Swords looks like a man kind of carefully walking around, swords looking over his shoulder. The whole point of that card in summary is we don't want to recreate the situation we already left. We have to move the pieces carefully, tread carefully and righteously. Not cutting corners, because when we do that, karma comes back to bite us. Okay, so now you know that we're in between those two cards. We're not yet putting the pieces back together. We're kind of, you might be feeling like I'm in a mess right now. Maybe it's just emotional. Maybe it's emotional and material. Chances are you'll see a reflection of that chaos in every dimension. You might feel a little foggy mentally, a little messy mentally. But it's time to get yourself out of it. Understand the hardest part is already done. What has left you feeling defeated, and how can you pick yourself back up? Before even putting the pieces back together, you have to have that sense of inspiration to even want to move ahead. So this is the challenge and the gift this week. We have fresh energy to access this opportunity right now with this new moon. It's a new moon, new chance. What are you tired of feeling defeated by? Stop letting it defeat you. You have a choice. What has been defeating you? What choice? Because everything is a choice, right? So what choices in thought, in speech, and in action have you been making, probably repeatedly, that has been keeping you feeling defeated? How can you choose now to take new actions, to think differently, to speak differently, to set a new course. Whatever choices you have been making have been leading you to feel that defeat. It's time to make new choices. Again, in thought, speech, and action, to form a new reality, to forge a new path to the other side. Whatever that's going to be, we don't quite know yet. The future isn't written. We're writing it each moment with each choice. And I also want to point out to you guys that this is a 6. So when you look at the number of the card, you always want to look to its correlating major arcanum card. 6 in the major arcanum is the Lover's card, with its better, I think it's a better name in its ancient form as the Two Paths. When you look at the ancient name of that card, the Two Paths, it's more direct. The Lovers is a metaphor, but the Two Paths really makes it more clear what that card is actually about. It's about choice. 6s are about choice points. Okay? 6 is made up of 3 and 3. 3, a trinity, is a whole. Another 3 is a trinity, is a whole. It's like 2 wholes. You can go this way or you could go that way. It's like masculine, feminine, active, receptive, polarity, choice. So 6, it's about making that choice to row yourself to the other side. And why are we doing this? Woo! 8 of Cups. We don't want to spend our time in a situation where we're never going to find that final cup, or we're never going to be able to fulfill this art piece right here, this stack of trophies, or whatever you want to call it. Okay, 8 is right before 9, completion. We don't want to be stuck at the 8. Think of 8 like infinity, forever. You don't want to be stuck in a negative loop. You want to find that fulfillment. You want to find that 9th cup, that completion. So we don't want to waste our time in defeat, knowing we'll never find that fulfillment of the heart. If we're stuck in defeat and we don't choose to row ourselves to the other side and we just victimize ourselves, we're never going to fulfill ourselves. We're never going to feel fulfilled. Our heart is never going to feel fulfilled. The cup will never fill up. So we're doing this, learning how to get to the other side so that we can stop being afraid of what we're leaving behind, start being inspired and excited about what's going to come, what's going to be there on the other side, knowing that we will create whatever that's going to be, that it's not written yet. That's why we're doing this. We're willing to walk away and go seek that new situation, because what this is all about, what this life is all about, is filling up the one cup. You fill up your heart, so you fill up the one heart. We're all connected, all one. There's only one here. So it's not selfish to seek that fulfillment if you're doing it righteously, if you're walking a virtuous path of virtue. Remember why you're doing it. You're doing it for the one heart. It's okay to ask for that fulfillment. It's not selfish when you remember and when you act from that place of oneness, when you remember you're one and you act from that place of oneness. So it's our duty to seek that fulfillment of the heart, because our heart is connected to the one collective heart. So we have to row ourselves to the other side. And I just want to point out that both of these cards, there aren't many cards in the deck. There are some that you don't see the people's faces. Did you notice that? You don't see any faces. They're walking away. So it's a theme. It's saying both of these cards have a message of don't be afraid of what you're leaving behind. I mean, that one seems even more easy in this one, right? It's like, actually, no. At first, it might seem easy, like, oh, you're walking away from defeat, challenge. You want to walk away from the challenge. But even then, isn't it hard for us as humans? We can be stuck in an abusive relationship, right? Like narcissism, narcissistic abuse, sociopathy, all different kinds of abuse within relationship. And it's hard to walk away from that, even though it's challenging, even though it's killing us. I mean, there's physical abuse, or even sometimes really, really painful mental abuse, psychological abuse that's going on in these situations, and we can't walk away. It's hard to walk away. But that's a lot about what this card is telling us. You have to. It's a choice. You have to. And then here, this card is often about that as well, walking away. feeling afraid to leave something behind. It could be a relationship that one has worked on for so long. And it's like, oh, well, I'm not really feeling fulfilled, but how can I walk away from this? I put so much effort into it. Well, the answer is the same for both. Nothing is ever lost. If there's only one here, and you really believe that, you're never walking away from anything but yourself. There's no such thing actually as time or space. There's no separation. There's no distance. So it's a delusion when we feel that fear of having to walk away from something. We were never born, we'll never die. You know what I'm saying? And we really have to live from that place of belief. And when we do, it makes life so much more graceful and meaningful and allows us to have our wings to fly in our purpose for real. So both cards have that theme of this message that it's okay to walk away. Not only is it okay, it's necessary. A lot of times it's necessary. And we shouldn't get stuck on the idea of walk away or not. It's all about what is for the highest good. If the answer for the highest good involves walking away or staying, then great, but that's just a byproduct of the highest answer. So we should be willing to do whatever it takes to fulfill that thing that's going to be for the highest good, that decision, that choice that's going to be for the highest good of all is one. If it means leaving, it shouldn't be any more hard. We should feel inspired no matter what it takes. And when that fear comes up, when the trigger comes up, it's full of secrets. It's there to tell you something. The more fear you feel, even though you know it's the right answer, it's the right move, it's telling you something. You're deeply emotionally invested in this. Perhaps you've lost your remembrance of who you are and why you're here. Perhaps you've forgotten that we're all one and that you can't really lose anything. All that's real is light, and it's forever. Light stays with you forever. The work that you do that's actually meaningful in these bodies, with these souls in this world, never leaves you. It's impossible. So the more fear you feel upon having to make the right choice is only an indicator of how far you've come from yourself and your truth and the self and the truth. So that's the only thing we should, I want to say fear, but doesn't really make sense, does it? That's the thing we should really be examining. Instead, we become so attached. It's that attachment, it causes suffering. Instead, we should be able to rise above in those moments and go, wow, I know what the right decision is, yet look how hard it is for me to walk away because I've forgotten that everything is one, because I've forgotten why I've even been in this situation this whole time. I've become so overwhelmed and attached by this material entanglement and all these emotions and the game and the illusion that I forgot the whole reason I was here. I forgot the whole idea of who I actually am, why I came to this place. And I'm going to break through that fear, and I'm going to be excited to remember that all is one and all is connected. And with that remembrance and with that faith, I will act and take the steps I need to take. And I will be brave. And you know what? Bravery, courage, it's not a virtue. It's actually, it precedes all virtues. It's what's necessary to act upon the virtues. Okay, so we'll never fill up that final cup if we don't get ourselves to the other side. If we're just stuck in the muck and victimizing ourselves, if we're not willing to take the actions we need to take to get ourselves to the other side, we're just gonna be living in misery and we'll never be fulfilled. So it's time to find that strength to do what we need to do to get ourselves to the other side. And know this, because it will strengthen you. It's not just about this moment. When we do this work and we cultivate these new strengths to take these kinds of actions, that strength stays with us forever. And when we inevitably come to these points again in life, maybe in the next life, the next life, the next life, we will have that light and that strength within us because of the work that we're doing right now. This work that you're doing right now is not, and this should really inspire you, okay? Because it's not just for this lifetime and this body and this small story. You're doing this work and it will last an eternity. an eternity. This life and this particular scenario you're experiencing, to invoke this strength in you, it's temporary, but the strength is forever. And the ally of the week is the letter Tav, and it's the final letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And I love that the last word I said before picking up is forever, because the Tav is, the hieroglyphic symbol connected to the Tav is an X. It's the original cross. It's the X marks the spot. It's the beginning and the never end. It's that infinite point. And it's the 22nd letter of the Aleph Bet. 22 reduces to a 4. 22 is the hidden tarot card. It's actually in the Egyptian Brotherhood of Light deck, 22. You rarely find it in a tarot deck or in a tarot guide. I do have a class on it. I have a class on every single major arcanum card, including 22. They're video classes. They're each about an hour to 90 minutes long. So if you want to know more about the secrets of tarot card 22, please reach out. It's also in my book, Royal Path 1. So the tarot card that's associated with this Hebrew letter is called the Annihilist or the Materialist. And it's the one who makes mistakes. It's like folly. You think of the Fool as the 0, the 22 is folly. It's the one who makes mistakes but takes a new form each time to do it over and over again until you get it. It's like samsara, right? The cycle of rebirth. So you have the 4 in tarot is the emperor or the sovereign. That's the form, the structure, the pattern. Then you have 13 in the tarot, which is death or transformation or the reaper. And that 13 reduces to a 4 as well, right? So you have the sovereign, it's the pattern. Then you have death, 13, it's the rebirth. But then you have 22, which also reduces to a 4. So those 3 cards are connected, 4, 13, and 22. 22 is the eternal rebirth, okay? So you have the birth, the pattern, then you have the rebirth, and then you have the wheel, the eternal rebirth, the 22, the repeating form. Okay, so I love that we just said that this lesson is forever, because it's true. The work that we do is forever. It's infinite. That light goes on forever. Forever. And the Tav is actually associated with the Fool card as well. Okay, because the Fool and folly are really one. So it's another secret for you guys. But it's forever. So if this is the ally right now, it's saying, look at this. The work that you're doing now will last forever. That should give you the motivation and the inspiration to, first of all, detach from this material situation a little bit and know that it's only temporary, yet also fully invest yourself in it, knowing that you can use this current situation as a ritual to do work, to cultivate light that will last forever for all future generations, for all future beings, which are all you, all we, all one. Okay, so message of the week. It's time to do what we need to do to get ourselves on the other side. The amount of time that we spend in that period of victimization and defeat is only reflecting that amount of distance we have from ourselves, how far we've come from our truth. Okay, so take as long as you want there. It's all temporary anyway. But the faster and the more authentically you can get on a new path, pick yourself up, get yourself going, have the motivation to get to the other side, that really reflects your belief in who you truly are, why we're really here, and your belief in your own free will. It reflects your ability to direct your own will, which is really why we're here. Okay, so this is the challenge to get, always have to get a call during the activation. Every single time we come to this point on the path, we will have the strength to draw upon, and it will get easier each time. It will get more magical each time, because it's forever, remember. And we're doing it because we'll never feel fulfilled if we don't do it. We'll always be on this endless search for fulfillment. We'll just feel stuck and miserable. So we may as well get going, pick ourselves up, and do the work that we need to do to get ourselves to the other side. It's okay to grieve. It's okay to be in your emotions. It's okay to let your inner child feel what it feels. But there's that part of you, that responsible and active part, that can still, while that process is happening, hold that space. Hold that space. And it's that father within that holds that space and sets a new course and says, it's okay to feel all these things and we need to get to the other side. The work we do is forever. Don't forget, be inspired. All right, you guys, so I'm really excited to be doing this work with you. Thanks for being present for this activation and pulling forth this message together as one. I look forward to this every week. Go enjoy the stars tonight. It's a dark sky. And for those of you who have been asking me in private messages, yes, I do one-on-one readings. Yes, I have a lot more availability right now. And I have that video course that I mentioned. If anyone wants to purchase a single class or the whole course, just please reach out to me. There are cards 0 through 22 and a few bonus classes. My books look like this: Royal Path 1 on the Major Arcanum. It gives you also the non-manipulated Hebrew letter correlation of each of the cards. And then at the back, it gives you questions related to each archetype so that if you do a reading for yourself, you can use it as a guide. Or you could just use it as a deck itself. You could literally just flip to a page and it's a tarot deck itself. This book is meant to show you that the cards are within and you don't need a deck. Number 2 is for, I would say, the more advanced tarot practitioner, or for somebody who wants to be more advanced and go deeper. This is about the minor arcanum and the elemental suits, again, beyond manipulations. I put all of my secrets in this book about the manipulations and how to go beyond them and also how not to fear them. And again, you can use it as a tarot guide if you do readings. So please reach out to me if you want me to send you one. I would be happy to sign it and be happy to include a special bookmark in it. Thank you guys so much. Have an awesome week, and I'll see you for the next activation. Also, I may see you in our private groups, 2 of them on Facebook. One is called the Archetypal Alliance, where we discuss things like this in between activations. The other one is called Shabbat Crew. And we post about the Torah story every week in there, and Jewish holidays from the mystical perspective and things like that if you're interested. All right, you guys. I love you.